Hello everyone, it's me, your host Zaynul Abedin Miah, the host of today's session and Microsoft Goldstone Ambassador and Azure Tech Group Bangladesh co-organizer. Today I would like to give all of you a warm welcome to our today's Microsoft Seasons of AI session, and I'm really excited to be hold this session and learning with all of you today. So before we get started, let's get a quick check. Can you everyone see my screen clearly? Or you can hear me clearly or not. Drop a yes or thumbs up if you're with me or not. Perfect. Great to see many of you here. Thank you all for taking time to join us today. And I'm really excited to be learning this session along with all of you. Today we are going to explore something really exciting. And today our topic is Azure MCP Server. And here's a big question I want you to think about. What if ChatGPT could not just chat with all of you, but actually manage your Azure infrastructure? What if you could say, show me all my storage accounts, and your AI agent would just do it? And that's exactly what we're going to learn today. By the end of this session, you will understand how this MCP model context protocol is changing the game of AI and AI agents, and you will know exactly how to get started. And building your own intelligent agents on Azure sounds good, right? So let's dive in. So let me just get to the next slide. So let me start with the problem that I know many of you have been experienced with. You are working with ChatGPT, right? But it's amazing. It can write code, it explains concepts, helps you with debugging, but here's the thing, it has a knowledge cutoff. So ChatGPT's training data, like for example, it stops at April 2024. I asked the ChatGPT, right, like which Azure region supports MCP in Azure AI Foundry agent services. So it's going to give me vague answers like hallucinations. Maybe it will guess, maybe it will say, I'm not sure. Why? Because MCP supports wasn't a major failure when it was trained on. So so look at the slide here. So let me break down the limitations here. We're dealing with number one, AI models which have outdated data. They can know about feature launched after the training cutoff. And number two is AI can actually really call Azure service. It can tell you how to list Azure storage account, but it can actually do it for you. So managing Azure requires a lot of manual work. You need to be logged into portal, run CLI commands, and navigate to dashboards. It's time consuming actually. And number four is every AI model have custom integration. If you want OpenAI to talk to Gmail or Gemini, you write custom code. If you want Cloud to talk to Slack, you write different custom code. There's no standard way. So if I ask you a question, can we do better? Can we make AI truly understand our intent and take real actions? That's where model context protocol comes in. And let's talk about the solution right now. Mhm. So here you can see that before MCP we had, so here MCP stands for model context protocol. And here's the best way to think about it. So MCP is like USB port. You can see here USB-C for AI. Think about it before USB-C. What did we have? We had different cables for everything, right? So lighting cables for iPhones, micro USB for Android, HDMI for monitor. It was a chaos. Like then USB-C came a long way and we had one universal standard that works for everything. And for AI, this is exactly what MCP stands for. Let me show you the difference before MCP. If you wanted to your AI agents to talk to Gmail, you would write custom integration code for Gmail, then you would write completely different code for Slack, then again for Google Calendar, then again for Azure. Every tool, every services, like every integration needed its own custom code. But it was really expensive, consuming, and hard to maintain with MCP. But with MCP, hard to maintain without MCP. But with MCP, you have one standardized protocol. Your agent, AI agent speaks MCP. Your tools, Gmail, Slack, Azure Calendar, and they all speak MCP. And boom, we have all talked to each other, and no special integration needed. So now let's go to the next slide. So you can see MCP here. So before, let's make sure we're on the same page about an AI agent. Actually, before, because we are not talking about chatbots here. We are talking about an AI agent system that has four capabilities. So first is persistent memory. It remembers things from previous interactions like chat history. So if you tell me, it, so if you tell it like I'm working on a project called Eco, it will remember that in the future. Conversations like, and second, planning. It doesn't respond to you, it creates it. So it creates a plan for you. If you say set up a new Azure storage account, it knows steps. Authenticate, run the command, verify, confirm you with you. Then third we have is the big, it can actually call functions, execute commands, take action, not just tell you how it can do it. So long term, everything it does is aligned with your objectives. So it's not operating in isolation. It's working towards something great. So when we combine agents with MCP, we get something really powerful. We get AI that can understand what you want and actually make it happen. That's the future we are building. So let's go to our next slide. So here it's Azure MCP, that's our solution here. So let's talk about our Azure's implementation of MCP. So Microsoft built something called Azure MCP Server, and this is where things get really exciting for us. As Azure developers who work with Azure, here's what Azure MCP gives us. One, it enables AI agents to interact with your Azure resources, so your agents can query Cosmos DB, list storage, account check, log analytics, all through natural languages. And number two, it's secure. Authentication happens through Intra ID. That's Azure identity problem. So you're not exposing credentials on unsafely. And three is you can talk to it plain English. So no need to you memorize the CLI commands. Just say what you want. Show me my Cosmos DB containers. List all storage account in my subscription. All of it you can do. And number four, it supports a tons of And number four is it supports tons of Azure services out of the box. So like for example, Azure AI Search, Cosmos DB, storage, the Azure CLI, and many more. So this is not the concept or a demo. This is the production ready, and you can use this today. So you can go to Azure and use that today. So let's go to the next slide. So let me show you how it actually works under the hood. So look at the flow here. So you can see here the flow chart here. So you, the user, ask a question in natural language, like let's say show me my storage account, and your request then goes to an MCP client like GitHub Copilot, Visual Studio Code, or VS Studio, and any tool that supports MCP today. We will then use this MCP tool. Then the MCP client uses standard standardized in model context protocol to communicate with the Azure MCP. Azure MCP Server. The Azure MCP Server is the tool provider. It has access to all your Azure services. It authenticates using Azure your Azure credentials like Azure login. Find the right Azure SDK to call, and this executes the command. Like on step 5, the result comes back to your list of Azure storage account, and it's displayed in your chat interface. So Not, notice the what you didn't have to do. So you can notice what you didn't have to do. You didn't even open Azure portal. You didn't write a single CLI code. You didn't even know which Azure SDK to use. The agent could handle everything for you. That is the power of MCP. So next. So enough of the theory part. So now we will see it in action. In just a few minutes, and I'm going to show you how to show you a live demonstration of MCP and its workflow using GitHub Copilot in VS Studio. This is where things get really cool. Like you will see how an AI agent can understand your intent, breaking down into steps and generate the exact comments you need to manage Azure services, Azure resources. So here's what we're going to do. Step one, we will open VS Studio. Step one, we will open VS Studio. I will have it here. Then step two, we will just ask a prompt like give a prompt to GitHub Copilot to demonstrate how an AI agent would use MCP to interact with Azure. Then we will then see how the Copilot generates a complete workflow, and it will create a to-do list with best practices using via MCP and generate the Azure CLI command, Azure CLI command. Now I will highlight the keywords. Step by step logic, like this is how an agent thinks. Then I will show you the Azure CLI command, like Azure, this is what agents execute, and the best practices and security guidance, the agents intelligence. So in step 5, we will see all of it happen in real time right here in Visual Studio. And the beautiful part about it is that we will see no complex setup here, there are no authentication errors, no server timeouts, and just a pure AI agents logic generating exactly what you need. And this is the power of AI agents with tool access to MCP ready. So without a delay, let's show you my screen. So you can do let me know if you can see my Visual Studio screen or not. I will just share it right now. So you can see here, I'm sharing my screen now. You can see that Visual Studio Code is open with text. You can see the prompt text here blank, or you can see the blank text file here. Now I'm going to type a prompt that demonstrates how an agent would use MCP to help out with Azure operations. So let's type it out. Let's type my prompt. Imagine you are an AI agent. So this is actually prompt engineering technique. If you want, you can also implement this with access to our full tools via our protocol called MCP, which we can also state that as some model context protocol if it doesn't have context protocol. I want to show I want you to show me steps to use MCP on just my Azure storage accounts. Who's using Azure CLI? Now let's press enter. You can also see the tools here. Lots of options available. Now let's open. Let's see how the Copilot generates. So now what happens now in it's going to think through, see step by step, like it will create a plan, fetch best practices, and generate PowerShell ready Azure CLI commands. So let's wait for it to respond. So we can see the step by step and setting up the task. You can see that it's creating a to-do list here. This is exactly what an MCP enable agent does. And now we can give it allow and plan. It plans its work like breaks into tasks, then execute like plan MCP steps, then fetch Azure best practices, then generate CLI commands. So it's going running through each one step by step. This is actually a smart board. And here's the magic. Look at the PowerShell here. It's generating a comments. Now we can see that it's showing as advanced version, Azure login. Also, you can see the Azure storage, the account list subscription outputs. These are the real Azure CLI command that would work right now. If you ran the agent, the agents understand your intent, book it down, and generated a production ready code. But look it look, it didn't just give you a command. It also provided like best practices for authentication, then service principles. So best practices for authentication, service principle, managed identity, security guidance, and these aren't really hard-coded secrets and other troubleshooting tips. So what to do if a certain command fails? Then JSON parsing examples like if for PowerShell automation, this is the power of an MCP enable agents. It's not just smart, it's responsible. So see that section here. Let me just share you my slides now. Install Azure CLI. You can see that they start saying me to install Azure CLI. Then authentication also, so you can see authentication review, like check permissions, and also you can see no results here. So you can see no results. You can see here no results, and it's verifying our parameters. So this is the agent intelligence, and so this is how intelligent. So you can see here's a right now section here. You can see here what I would run interactively. You can see there is a login, is an account set to this, and your storage account list. You can run this out. Then three simple commands, but behind them, an entire workflow is designed by an AI agent that understands your code. So this is what MCP enable an an AI agent that understand your natural language intent and breaks problems into steps. So generates a production ready code and provides a security guidance. You can see here the security guidance here. See the guidance. Then generates a production ready code for you. You can see the production ready code already given to you here. Then provides a security guidance and also handles error cases and teaches you the best practices. So you can see, and it does all this without needing a custom integration for each tool. That's MCP, that's the future. So if Copilot doesn't respond on the first try, you can just, so all right, that was cool, but you might be thinking, okay, Zaynul, that is neat, but when would I actually use it? Like, that's a great question. Let me ask you some real world examples so that are super relevant to our country, Bangladesh. For startup like Bika, Shopper, Pachao, about these companies. Any company running an Azure infrastructure, and imagine you are CTO, you're worried about cloud costs. Like instead of logging into a cost management every single day, you just ask your AI agent, "What's my Azure spending this month?" or show me the resource that are over provision. The agent analyzes and gives you recommendation and makes your decision faster. So let's say you need to check database health and you ask, are there any issues with my Cosmos DB? The agent then queries the log analytics, checks metrics and tells you if anything's wrong or not. You catch problems before your customers do. And that's great for your startup because you don't want any loss to occur on your billings. But for developers, like many of you watching right now, how many of you had a Azure CLI command? Like, what is it as a storage account list or is it as a account storage list documents? And it's sometimes they're confusing, like you forget the syntax, you check stack overflow, you use flow. With MCP you just say show me my storage account in English and it's done. No syntax, no memorization. You focus on building features for your company, not fighting with tools. Faster troubleshooting, less context switching, and more time for you to code and develop your project. And for my DevOps team and infrastructure team, so you are managing 50 virtual machines, 20 databases, 10 Azure storage accounts, and monitoring them manually is exhausting. But an AI agent with Azure MCP, it can run health check automatically, alerts you when something's off, even execute remediation scripts. Natural language operation mean your entire team can manage infrastructure, not just the CLI experts. So that's all for the DevOps team and for my fellow students and learners. If you're learning Azure, it's a game changer for you. You can experiment without fear. Ask questions like, what resources do I have in my free time? Or how do I create a storage account? The agent guides you, shows you results, and you learn by doing. Plus, this is cutting edge technology. Building agents with MCP is a portfolio project for you, and that will make you stand out in for jobs. And these aren't a hypothetical. These are real world problems we face every day in Bangladesh and tech ecosystem. And MCP gives us the tools to solve them earlier, the smarter. And now let's go to the next slide. So how to get started? All right. So now probably you're thinking like, I want to try this. Perfect. Let me show you exactly how to get started. And good news for you is it's way more easier than you think. First you need is, if you want to try MCP with GitHub Copilot like we just saw today, all you need is VS Studio Code and free. You can download it free on vsstudio.com. Then GitHub Copilot extension enable on your VS Studio. That's also $10 per month subscription. I think, yeah, $10 per month subscription. And also, if you're a student, you also have GitHub Student Developer Pack, and that's really great for you. If you don't, then get it now. Verify your student, verify with the student ID. Then with also, if you should have a GitHub account. That's it. No Azure setup, no complex configuration. Just open VS Studio and start using at Copilot MCP related questions. Second, so the resource to dive here deeper. So the main link you want to bookmark is as aka.ms link here. This link here, the AZ MCP. That's the official GitHub repo for Azure MCP server. It has installation instructions for everything you need. There's also documentations and there's also documentation at aka.ms MCP docs. If you want to dive deeper and see how it works, you can go check this out. Then if you want to explore other MCP servers beyond Azure, check out github.com model context protocol servers website. I will share all the link here on the comments. You can check it out. That's a whole ecosystem out here. The MCP server for Slack, Gmail, Drive, Google Drive, everything you name it, everything's available here. And also another thing for you is, if you are a student, you can get Azure Student with 12 months of free Azure services. No credit cards required, just sign up with your university email. If you're a student, Azure gives you $200 in free credits when you sign up a new user. That's more than enough to experiment with MCP, build agents, and test everything we talked about today. Then you can go to Azure AI Foundry at ai.azure.com. and create hub in the project. Like I will do it later. If you ask me, I will also take another session on MCP if it requires to show you how it works on Azure. But honestly, start tonight with GitHub Copilot and VS Studio. It MCP ask it MCP questions and see how it breaks down the problems. Get a for fee for agent thinking. The foundation will make everything click into a place. So MCP is really great. For example, you want to convert like Taka into dollar, and you ask ChatGPT like, I want to convert this Taka into dollar. ChatGPT is not up to date, so it will just hallucinate and will give you a response which is not up to date response. You will verify with Google and you'll see ChatGPT was wrong, and that's how you get misled. But with MCP enabled to ChatGPT, it will provide you up to date information, and that's really grateful. Now let's go to the next slide. I guess wait, let me just share the screen. All right. So now we have reached at the end of this today's session. Thank you all for being here with me. I know you have a lot of options for you to spend your evening, but thank you to all for joining my session and for giving me your time. It's really means a lot to me, and I'm really glad that you chose to learn with me. That really means a lot to me. And we cover so much stuff today, from the problem with AI having outdated knowledge to the solution of MCP provides to seeing it in action in with GitHub Copilot. You watched an AI agent break it down complex Azure's task into step-by-step commands with security-based practices. That's a powerful stuff here. So now you will scan this QR code, or I will share the link here. Please fill out the post event survey. It will mean a lot to me. You will see a QR code. You can also scan it using your phone, or you can say that why should I fill up this form? Well, your feedback helps Microsoft improve seasons of AI events. They generally want to know what worked, what didn't, and what you want to learn next. So everyone who completes survey might get seasons of AI. I don't know. You can like fill up the form and get to know it later. And also share me what you want to learn next. We will try our best to cover the topic you want to learn. And everyone, please fill up the survey form. And if you want to stay connected, I will share you my LinkedIn account, my GitHub account, and my YouTube channel link. You can go and subscribe my channel for more contents like this one. So please feel free to reach me out, ask questions, share what you learn, what you're building on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you. And that's all from me today. So thank you so much.